All right. We got Descartes' error, emotion, reason, and the human brain. Let's see what we got on this one. All right, unpleasant in Vermont. Gage's brain revealed. What is this book? Dude, this is different. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Looks like we're just gonna probably read the introduction so we know what we're talking about. Here, you can pause it and you can zoom in and all that kind of stuff yourself. But yeah, start from the beginning. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. When in doubt, start on the introduction. All right. Although I cannot tell for certain what sparked my interest in the neural underpinnings of reason, I do know when I became convinced that the traditional views of the nature of rationality could not be correct. I had been advised early in life that sound decisions came from a cool head, that emotions and reasons did not mix any more than oil and water. I had grown up accustomed to thinking that the mechanisms of reason existed in a separate province of the mind, where emotion should not be allowed to intrude. And when I thought of the brain behind that mind, I envisioned separate neural systems for reason and emotion. This was a widely held view of the relation between reason and emotion in mental and neural terms. Here, see the book. I'm sorry. I don't know if you want to see it. I can't read it that close. Sorry. Now you can see I'm reading. Now I had before my eyes the coolest, least emotional, intelligent human being one might imagine, and yet his practical reason was so impaired that it produced in the wandering of daily life a succession of mistakes, a perpetual violation of what would be considered socially inappropriate and personally advantageous. He had an entirely healthy mind until a neurological disease ravaged a specific sector of his brain, and from one day to the next. Sorry, that's a little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna read like that. You might switch it to this side now. All right. Okay. Caused this profound defect in decision making. The instruments usually considered unnecessary and sufficient for rational behavior were intact in him. He had the requisite knowledge, attention, and memory. His language was flawless. He could perform calculations. He could tackle the logic of an abstract problem. There was only one significant accompaniment to his decision-making failure: a marked alteration of the ability to experience feelings. Flawed reason and impaired feelings stood out together as a consequence of the specific brain lesion. And this correlation suggested to me that feeling was an integral component of the machinery of reason. Okay. 2 decades of clinical and experimental work with a large number of neurological patients have allowed me to replicate this observation many times and to turn a clue into a testable hypothesis. Okay. Let's go. This is starting to get a little intense, right? A little interesting. I began writing this book to propose that reason may not be pure as most of us think, or it is, or wish it were. That emotions and feelings may not be intruders in the bastion of reason at all. They may be enmeshed in its networks for worse and for better. The strategies of human reason probably did not develop in either evolution or any single individual without the guiding force of the mechanisms of biological regulation, of which emotion and feelings are notable expressions. Moreover, even after reasoning, strategies become established in the formative years. Their effective deployment probably depends to the considerable extent on a continued ability to experience feelings. Okay? This is not to deny that emotions and feelings can cause havoc in the process of reasoning under certain circumstances. Traditional wisdom has told us that they can, and recent investigations of the normal reasoning process also reveals the potentially harmful influence of emotional biases. It is thus even more surprising and novel that the absence of emotion and feeling is no less damaging, no less capable of compromising the rationality that makes us distinctively human and allows us to decide in consonance with the sense of personal future, social convention, and moral principle. Nor is this to say that when feelings have a positive action, they do the deciding for us, or that we are not rational beings. I suggest only that certain aspects of the process of emotion and feeling are indispensable for rationality. At their best, feelings point us to the proper direction, take us to the appropriate place in the decision making space, where we may put the instruments of logic to good use, or we may not. We are faced by uncertainty when we have to make a moral judgment, decide on the course of a personal relationship, choose some means to prevent our being penniless in old age, or plan for the life that lies ahead. Emotion and feeling, along with the covert physiological machinery underlying them, assist us with the daunting task of predicting an uncertain future and planning our actions accordingly. Beginning with analysis of the 19th century landmark case of Phineas Gage, whose behavior first revealed a connection between impaired rationality and specific brain damage. Okay, getting there. Phineas Gage. I examined recent investigations of his modern counterparts and review pertinent findings from neurophysiological research in humans and animals. Further, I propose that human reason depends on several brain systems, working in concert across many levels of neuronal organization, rather than on a single brain center. Both high-level and low-level brain regions, from the prefrontal cortices to the hypothalamus and brainstem, cooperative in the making of reason. The lower levels in the neural edifice of reason are the same ones that regulate the processing of emotion and feelings, along with the body functions necessary for organism survival. In turn, these lower levels maintain direct and mutual relationship with virtually every bodily organ, thus placing the body directly within the chain of operations that generate the highest reaches of reasoning, decision making, and, by extension, social behavior and creativity. Emotion, feeling, and biological regulation all play a role in human reason. The lower orders of the lowly orders of our organism are in the loop of high reason. All right, I'm not going to keep reading. I understand this might be a little bit more intense for most people, but if you want to study like neurology and neuroscience, this is going to be very interesting. There we go. I can speak. Look at that. It took me a little bit. What is it? 3 times the charm? Excuse me. So yeah, Descartes' error, emotion, reason, and the human brain, right? Okay, let's see what this error here. Antonio Damasio is a profound thinker and an elegant writer. Descartes' error is a fascinating exploration of the biology of reason and its inseparable dependence on emotion. Oliver Sacks, author of The Anthropologist on Mars. Boom. I mean, it seems interesting. It's good. If you'd like to read this, just click the button and you'll be sent off to Amazon. You can purchase this. I would love to read this, but I mean, I already have like 60 books, so I don't think this doesn't make the list. This makes the B list, right? So eventually I will read this, but it's not going to be anytime soon enough for you to write it down. So we won't be reading it together. But I would love for you to read it and then come back and leave a comment and let's see what you say. And let's see how good it is. Let's see. Because I mean, I just seen a picture, man. Where was the picture? Oh, I've seen it again. There we go. See? So if you like, it's all talking about the brain and nervous system. So it's going to be really interesting. But I'll probably read it next time I'm in this house, next time I come and build a library. So it might be a few years. All right, see you later.